Hari Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Shri Mahadevaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahadurgaye Namaha. Om Shri Rama Ramaya Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurave Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidparam Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakrito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Sadashivasamaramdham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Mukti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shankaram Paramanandam Brahmanishtam Yatishwaram Bhashya Bhrantiharam Vande Shuddhajnanaekabodhakam Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Parvati Pataye, Har Har Mahadeva. Hari Om, Hari Om. We'll begin with the Shanti Mantra. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastva Nirakaranaha Te Mai Santo Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Naradji approaches the teacher Sanat Kumar and requests him to teach him Atma Vidya. So the teacher beginning from Nama, slowly reveals the subtler and subtler layers, and then finally will point out that Supreme Atma, Supreme Brahma. So subtler than Nama is Vak, subtler than Vak is Manaha, subtler than Mana is Sankalpa, subtler than Sankalpa is Chitta, subtler than Chitta is Dhyanam, and subtler than Dhyanam is Vijnanam. Vijnanam is to know the Shastra, Shastrartha Vishayam Jnanam, the meaning of the Shastras. When we understand them, that is called Vijnana. And that Vijnana alone then motivates Dhyana, and Dhyana gives rise to Chitta, and Chitta to Sankalpa, Sankalpa to Mana, Mana to Vak, Vak to Nam. So Vijnana, the teacher tells Naradji that you meditate on Vijnana as Brahma. So Naradji asked the teacher that is there anything subtler than Vijnana? The teacher says yes, there is something subtler than Vijnana. Then Naradji requests him, please teach me that. So now the teacher reveals that which is subtler than Vijnana in this 8th section. Let us chant the first mantra. Balam vava vijnanat bhuyah apiha shatam vijnanavatam eko balvan akampayate sa yada bali bhavati atodhata bhavati उत्तिष्ठन् परिचरिता भवति परिचरन् उपसत्ता भवति उपसीदन् द्रष्टा भवति श्रोता भवति मन्ता भवति बोद्धा भवति कर्ता भवति विज्ञाता भवति बलेन वै पृथिवी तिष्ठति बलेन अंतरिक्षं बलेन द्यौः बलेन पर्वताः बलेन देवमनुष्याः बलेन पशवश्च वयांसि च तृणवनस्पतयः श्वापदानि आकीटपतङ्गपिपीलिकं बलेन लोकस्तिष्ठति बलम् उपास्वेति. So the teacher tells Naradji that balam vava vijnana bhuyah, bala, that is strength, is greater than vijnana, than understanding. Strength is greater than understanding. And the teacher explains why. He gives reason. कि अपिह शतम विज्ञानवताम एको बलवान आकंपयते. That even if there are 100 intelligent people, 100 persons who have understanding, they can be disturbed by even one strong person. Even one strong person can easily disturb 100 intelligent people. Further, the teacher says, Sa yada bali bhavati ataha utthata bhavati. First, we will see the literal meaning of this whole mantra, and then we will read Bhagwan Shankaracharya's commentary and understand the deeper significance of this mantra. So, sa yada bali bhavati, when a person becomes strong, atha utthata bhavati, then he becomes capable of getting up, of standing up, of getting up. And uttishtan paricharita bhavati, and having gotten up, becomes fit or becomes the doer of seva. He does seva after getting up. He becomes or he does seva. And paricharan upasatta bhavati, and having become a sevak, becomes someone who approaches, comes closer. And upasidan drashta bhavati, and having come close, becomes a seer. Shrota bhavati, and becomes a listener. Manta bhavati, becomes a thinker. Bodha bhavati, becomes someone who understands. Karta bhavati, becomes a doer. Vijnata bhavati, gains understanding. Balena vai prithvi tishtati, by the strength alone, the earth remains. The earth is also established in its position because of bala, because of the strength. Balena antariksham, the antariksha, the inner space, is also sustained by strength. Balena dyauhi, the outer space, is also sustained by strength. Balena parvataha, the mountains are also sustained by strength, by bala. Balena deva manushyaha, by the strength are sustained the devatas and human beings. Balena pashavascha, and all the animals are sustained by bala. Vayamsicha, the birds are sustained by bala. Trana vanaspatayaha, the grass and the trees are sustained by bala. Shwapadani, the wild animals are sustained by bala. Akita patanga pipilikam, the moths and the flies and the ants are all sustained by bala, strength. Balena lokaha tishtati, the entire world is sustained by bala, by strength. Balam upasveti, you meditate on bala as Brahma. So what is this bala and why it is given so much of importance? That we will now try to understand by reading Shankaracharya's Bhashya. Balam vava vijnanat bhuyaha. Bala is greater than vijnana. So we had seen that vijnana, which is greater than dhyana, the importance of vijnana was revealed in the previous mantra. But here the teacher says that strength is even greater than bala. And what is the strength? Shankaracharya writes कि बलम इति अन्न उपयोग जनितम मनसो विज्ञेये प्रतिभान सामर्थ्यम. This bala is something which is born from food. The food which we eat, it nourishes our not only our body but our mind also. We had seen in the previous chapter that when we eat food, it gets divided into three portions. The gross portion becomes excreta and gets excreted. The middle portion goes to nourish our muscles, and a subtler portion of food goes to nourish our mind. And this was difficult for Shvetaketu to comprehend. So his teacher told him that you go on fast for 15 days. You can drink water as much as you want, but no food. So Shvetaketu fasted for 15 days, and then he approached the teacher. So the teacher told him to chant some mantras from the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharvaveda. But Shvetaketu said, I don't, nothing comes to my mind. I don't remember them. I cannot express them. So his mind had become weak due to lack of nourishment. Then the teacher told him that you now eat food. And after eating food, Shvetaketu could remember and could chant the mantras also. So our mind is sustained and is nourished by the food which we eat. The food which we eat gives us strength to the mind. See, the mind is very subtle, but it functions through the physical body. For a human being, the mind expresses through our physical body, through our brain, etc. And without proper nourishment, the mind is unable to function. So here the teacher, here Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he defined this bala as that which is born from the food which we have eaten. So balam iti anna upyoga janitam manaso vidneye pratibhana samarthyam. So when this through food, when the mind is nourished, the mind gets the ability to comprehend whatever is presented in front of that mind. Without that nourishment, the mind cannot comprehend. Shankaracharya ji gives he quotes from the previous chapter कि अनशनात् ऋगादीनि नवै मा प्रतिभान्ति भोः. Same thing what I said. Ki Shvetaketu, because of lack of nourishment, he could not remember the Rig Veda, etc. So iti shrutehe sharirepi tad eva utthānādi samarthyam yasmād vijñānavatam shatam api ekah prani balavan akampayate. Even our body gets nourishment from the food which we eat, and the body gains that strength. So sharire api tad eva utthānādi samarthyam. So even the body gets the ability to stand up and to walk and to do karma when it is properly nourished. Therefore, yasmat vijñānavatam shatam api. Therefore, even if there are 100 intelligent people, they can be easily disturbed by one who has got this strength. So, Balavan akampayate. The teacher, Shankaracharya ji, gives example. He says, Yatha hasti matto manushyanam satam samuditam api. Just imagine an elephant, a wild elephant, elephant which has got disturbed, and there are 100 people around. And if there is a wild elephant, all these 100 people will run around. They will just get scattered. They will get totally disturbed by one elephant itself, one strong elephant. Similarly, we may be very intelligent, and have the ability to comprehend things presented in front of the buddhi, but a strong person, physically strong, can disturb hundreds of such intelligent people. So this is a very interesting thing which is indicated here. Therefore, again, the why it is considered as subtler and greater than Vijnana, the teacher further gives example. He says, Yasmad evam annadi upayoga nimittam balam. When one takes food properly and gains the proper nourishment for the buddhi, for the mana, for the antakarana. Therefore, proper nourishment for our antakarana is very important. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan talks about the 3 types of food, sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. So one should try to avoid the tamasic and rajasic food and try to gain sattvic food, try to eat only the sattvic food, because it not only strengthens our body but gives a very sattvic strength to our antakarana also. So when we gain this strength, when we eat and when we gain this strength for our mind as well as for the body, yasmad evam annadi upayoga janitam upayoga nimittam balam tasmat sa purusho yada balena tadvan bhavati. When a person gets equipped with this bala, with this strength, then what happens? अथ उत्थातः उत्थानस्य कर्ता he gets up. He gets the ability to stand up. He gets the ability to put forth effort. So a person who has got strength, he gets up. See, when a person, let us say even fasting and all, they lose not only their physical strength, but they also lose their mental strength. Too much of fasting makes the person not only physically weak, but also mentally dull. But when we gain proper nourishment, then the body also becomes strong and one gets up, so gains the power to stand up. So tadvan bhavati utthato utthanasya karta. So he gets up then. Uttishtanscha gurunam acharyasya cha paricharita paricharanasya Shushrushaya karta bhavati. Then, having got up, he becomes a sevak. Whose sevak? Shankaracharya writes, Gurunam acharyasya cha paricharita. He approaches a teacher and do seva of the teacher. Only when we have the mental strength and the physical strength, we will approach a teacher and we will do his seva. In Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan tells that tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya, that you approach a teacher, do his seva and ask question and learn. So when we have the strength, we get up and we do the seva, Gurunam Acharyasya, of the Guru, of the Acharya, Paricharita, Paricharinasya Shushrushaya Karta Bhavati. We do the seva. It's very important that we do seva of our teacher, because when we do the seva, then we get that we are able to tune which we are able to tune with the teacher. We are able to understand what the teacher is teaching. So seva is very important. Even when Bhagwan takes avatar, he goes to the Gurukul and lives like an ordinary student there and does seva of the teacher. Like Bhagwan Shri Krishna, he went to Sandipani Rishi and he did seva of the Rishi. Even Ramchandra ji and his brothers, they went to Vashishta Rishi and they did his seva and they learned from him. And later on, Ram and Lakshmana, they went along with Vishwamitra Rishi and they did seva of Vishwamitra Rishi. Though Bhagwan is Ishvara, he is the master of this entire creation, but when he takes an avatar, through his life, he shows what is the path of dharma which we have to follow. So as a human avatar, Bhagwan also went to the teacher and did seva of the teacher. So paricharita paricharanasya shushrushaya karta bhavati. Then when we do this seva, what happens? Paricharan upasatta tesham samipagaha antarangaha priyo bhavati ityarthaha. When we do seva, we come closer to the teacher. Closer to the teacher means we are able to identify with the knowledge, with the qualities of the teacher. We are able to tune ourselves very well to the teacher, and the teacher also develops affection for such a shishya. So antaranga priyo bhavati. So such a shishya becomes priya for the teacher. See, though the teacher may have many disciples, but those disciples who do proper seva and have that total dedication and total surrender and totally are what you call are ready to follow the instructions of the teacher, such a student becomes dear to the teacher. In Gita also though Bhagwan, for him all the Pandavas were very dear, but among all the Pandavas, Arjuna was extremely dear to Bhagwan. He told Arjuna that Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. You are my bhakta, you are my sakha, you are very dear to me. Among all the Pandavas, he named Arjuna as his vibhuti. Even Bhagwan's bhakta, all Bhagwan's bhakta are dear to Bhagwan. But some are extremely dear. Ativa me priyaha. In the 12th chapter, Bhagwan says, those who follow my teachings, those who cultivate these qualities like Adveshta Sarvabhutana Maitra Karuna Evacha, such devotees are extremely dear to me. Similarly, when we approach the teacher and we do seva of the teacher, then we come closer to the teacher and we become very dear to the teacher. Then what happens? Upasidancha samipyam gachan ekagrataya acharyasya anyasya cha upadeshtuhu guroho drashta bhavati. When a person comes closer to the teacher, means psychologically, with our emotions, with our thinking, we come closer to our teacher. It is not physical closeness, but it is the closeness of our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our dedication. So one may be even physically far away, but still may be very close to the teacher. Bhagwan Sri Ramchandra ji and Lakshmana went in search of Sita ji. Then they met Hanuman ji, they met Sugriva, and Bhagwan made friendship with Sugriva. He killed that Bali. And then Sugriva promised Bhagwan that after this rainy season is over, I will send all the Vanaras in different directions in search of Sitaji. So Bhagwan was waiting. Rainy season got over, but there was no news of Sugriva. Sugriv almost forgot that he has to do seva of Bhagwan, that he has to fulfill his promise. He got totally involved with his kingdom and his enjoyment, pleasure, that he forgot that Bhagwan is waiting and he had promised him, and he's not even thinking about it. But Hanumanji, though he was living there along with Sugriv in the kingdom, he was totally tuned to Bhagwan, and he could remember this, that now the rainy season is over and we have to go in search of Sitaji. So he reminded Sugriva. So Hanumanji was so tuned to Bhagwan because of his seva bhav that he could understand what Bhagwan is thinking. Even when he went to Lanka, he had no plans of burning that Lanka. But then Trijata saw in her dream that a Vanar has come to Lanka and he has burnt Lanka. And Hanumanji, when he heard this, he came to know that his master is sending him a message, and that is what he will do through me. So, through seva, one gets that tuning with the teacher. Therefore, total dedication, total sarnagati is very important. And when one comes closer to the teacher, then what happens? Shankaracharya says, Drashta bhavati. The mantra says, Drashta bhavati. Means we become the seer. We become seer of what? We become the seer of our teacher. We come to really appreciate and understand our teacher. Without coming closer to our teacher, we will not be able to appreciate the glory of our teacher. But through seva and through constant interaction with the teacher, we come to understand his glory. So teacher also, though may have many disciples, but only a few will be closer to the teacher, and they will be one who will really appreciate the greatness of the teacher. Like Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he had many disciples, but only 4 of them were very close to Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. They could understand and appreciate the greatness of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. And Shankaracharya ji also not only taught them but also gave them a responsibility of taking care of the 4 mathas in 4 different directions of our country. So one comes to see the teacher, means comes to understand the glory of the teacher. Guroho drashta bhavati. Then tatas tad uktasya shrota bhavati. And thereafter, we really start listening to what the teacher is saying. When we appreciate the glory of the teacher, when we are very close to the teacher, tataha, thereafter, tad uktasya, whatever he utters as the teaching, then Shrota Bhavati we listen to it. We are able to hear it. The teacher not only teaches through his words, but teacher also teaches through his actions, and the teacher also teaches through his silence. So all this we are able to hear. And tataha, thereafter, idam ibihi uktam evam upapadyata iti upapattitaha manta bhavati. Then one becomes a manta. Manta means one becomes a contemplator. We contemplate on what the teacher has said. Shankaracharya ji writes, okay, how does one do this mananam? He said, Tata idam ebihi uktam, that what teacher has uttered, what he has said, evam upapadyata iti upapattitaha. This, what is the significance of what the teacher has said? What is the idea behind what the teacher has said? See, one is that we understand what the teacher says. That is relatively simple, no, though it is not so simple, but relatively simple. We understand what the teacher says. We are able to repeat it also. But when a teacher says something, there is a lot of other things, other thoughts which are happening or which are behind that which is uttered. Suppose the teacher says something, then there must be some purpose, there must be some logic, there must be some other thought behind what the teacher is saying. Because the teacher just utters, lot of things remain unuttered, remains without mentioning. For example, the mother tells the son that I have kept the clothes to dry outside. You please bring them inside the room quickly. So, this is the sentence which she uttered. Bring the clothes immediately inside. But why did she utter this statement? Because she could see that it will start raining any moment now. So it is better to bring those clothes inside, otherwise they will get wet. So though she just uttered that bring the clothes inside, but behind her statement there was this understanding which was not uttered, which was not expressed. Similarly, when the teacher says something, there is a lot of thinking and lot of ideas which are there in the teacher's mind, which the teacher may not express every time. See, even when we study one particular mantra, behind that mantra, there is the understanding of all that was presented before also. For example, when we are studying this mantra, when I am speaking on this mantra, I should not only know the meaning of this mantra, but I should also have in my mind all that we have learned in the previous chapter also, all that we have learned in Bhagavad Gita also, all that we have learned in other Upanishads also, all that we have learned in other texts which we have studied. So the whole thing is there in the head, but all things cannot be expressed. But with that background, one express, one explains a particular mantra. So a wise, intelligent student is one who can not only understand the mantra as expressed by the teacher, but can also understand those things which are not mentioned, but which are there behind in the teacher's mind. This is a very, very subtle thing which one can comprehend only when we do proper mananam. Otherwise, we can just repeat what the teacher is saying, but that itself is not the understanding. That is not the understanding. The understanding is to understand the very that deep understanding which the teacher has, which has prompted that those particular statement through his mouth. So to comprehend that, we have to do mananam. Constant mananam is very important. So tata idam ebhihi uktam evam upapadyata. Therefore, Shankaracharya writes here, oh, my teacher has said this. What is the significance of what he has said? What must be behind his mind? What did he think when he said this? What other mantras and what other thoughts and what other ideas might have come in his mind that he spoke this? That if we understand, then we will be able to understand the secret of the Shastras, and we will be able to understand the teacher well. Because these are the limitation of words. Even in the greatest of words, the whole thing, the whole message cannot be communicated. The message is communicated in little parts only. But we have to collect all this part and create the whole picture in our mind. Like a jigsaw puzzle, only one piece at a time we can handle it. But we should have all the pieces put together, then only the whole picture will be formed. Similarly, when the teacher speaks, he can only express one piece of the puzzle. But he has expressed the other pieces before. So those also we should have in our mind so that we can just put them all together and comprehend the subject properly. So when we do this type of thinking, that is called mananam, then what happens? Bhavati manvanaha cha buddha bhavati. Manvanascha buddha bhavati. When we become the thinker, when we reflect, contemplate on what the teacher has said, then we are able to comprehend it. We are able to understand. Buddha bhavati. We gain the understanding of what the teacher is conveying. Buddha bhavati. Eva, eva idam iti. That this is like this. This is what the teacher has said. This is like this. Then tata evam nishchitya tat uktarthasya karta anusthata bhavati. And once we have understood what the teacher has said, then we are able to put it into practice. We are able to do the anushthan. We are able to put it into practice what we have understood. So tad uktarthasya karta bhavati. We become the karta of the what we have understood from the teacher. So karta anusthata bhavati. Vijnata anusthana phalasya anubhavita bhavati ityartha. And then once we have practiced, then we gain the result of our practice, and then we become vijnata. Then we gain experiential knowledge. First we gain just understanding when we listen to the teacher and when we contemplate. We gain the proper understanding. But when we practice what we have understood, and when we experience the result of our practice, then we gain experiential understanding. That is what is called vijnana. The vijnana which was explained in the previous section, that vijnana is experiential understanding, not just a literal meaning we have understood, not just information or data, but understanding with firm conviction, which happens when it is accompanied by experience. So vijnata anusthana phalasya anubhavita bhavati ityartha. Bhagavan says further, kikincha balasya mahatmyam. The mahatmya of bala is further pointed out, ki balena vai prithvi tishtati. By this bala only the prithvi, the earth is sustained. By the bala only the inner space is sustained. By the bala only the outer space is sustained. By this bala alone, the mountains are sustained. By bala only the devatas and human beings are sustained. The animals, birds, grass, trees, wild animals, moths, flies, ants, and the whole world is sustained by bala. And since bala gives rise to vijnana, that bala is indicated as greater than vijnana. Because when we have the bala, we gain the strength of our body, we gain the strength of our mind, we get up, we approach a teacher, we do the seva of the teacher, we come closer to the teacher, we listen, we come to know the greatness of the teacher, we listen to the teacher, we contemplate, we understand, then we put it into practice, we gain the experience, and then we gain that vijnana, experiential knowledge, experiential understanding. Therefore, hey Naradji, you meditate on Bala as Brahma. Then what is the result of, what is the phala of this meditation? That also now teacher tells in the next mantra. Let us chant. Sayo balam brahma iti upaste yavat balasya gatam tatra asya yatha kamacharo bhavati yo balam brahma iti upaste asti bhagavo balad bhuya iti balad vava bhuyo asti iti tanme bhagwan bravitu iti. The teacher says, Sayo balam brahma iti upaste, one who meditates on bala as Brahma, then yavat balasya gatam tatra asya yatha kamacharo bhavati. Then whatever be the range of this bala, this meditator also attains that range. He attains free movement within the domain of bala, of the strength. One who meditates on bala as Brahma. Then Naradji asked the teacher, is there anything subtler than bala? Is there something greater than bala? Asti bhagavo balad bhuya iti. Then the teacher says, yes, there is something greater than bala. Balad vava bhuyo asti iti. Then Naradji requests the teacher that please teach me that which is subtler than bala. And the teacher then will teach in the next section that we will see in our class on Friday. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, listen to the pravachan again, contemplate on what you have heard, and then we will meet on Friday. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boli Siyavar Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.